This is Chris Lee of Southeastern 14. The College World Series is underway with two classic games from Friday. We are going to talk about Florida, Virginia, but of course, you got to mention that classic game one in which Oral Roberts comes from behind and beats TCU, sending the Horned Frogs to the elimination game. And let's be honest, that looked like that was the same thing that was going to happen to Florida in the nightcap. The Gators just could not get anything going. Wyatt Langford had been slumping. Nick Parker for Virginia, who was not exactly lighting up the radar gun, holds the Gators down for 6 innings. The bullpen comes in and does okay. And we go to the ninth inning with Virginia holding a 5-3 lead and Jake Berry in, who was Brian O'Connor's in-game choice in that one. And boy, that is where things start to fall apart. In the ninth, you get a long home run from Ty Evans for Florida. So that makes it 5-4. Wyatt Langford then steps in the batter's box, I think with one out. And he hits a home run. Like sometimes you hit a home run and you think it's gone. Sometimes you hit a home run and you kind of know it's gone. And you know what Langford does. You hit a home run, and from the very millisecond that it leaves the bat, you know it's out of the park. I don't know that I've ever seen a guy celebrating before leaving the batter's box, but that's basically what happened with Wyatt Langford. He hits, I think, a 450-something foot home run with an exit velo of about 117, and everybody just goes nuts. That ties the game. Well, sometimes you just get shaken and you can't get it back together. And I think that's a lot of what happened to Jake Berry at that point. Just keeps putting guys on base. Let's see, the walk total ended up being what? 2, and then he hit a batter. So that Florida's got, I think the base is loaded with one out, and then all you need is a fly ball to the outfield. That is exactly what you got. That came from Luke Heyman. That goes to center. Virginia's center fielder, Ethan O'Donnell, doesn't even try to make a play on the throw at home as Florida scores the winning run on a sacrifice fly and celebrates like crazy in the outfield, which I guess I would have too. You won a dramatic game in Omaha. Florida now clearly in the driver's seat in that bracket. You've thrown Brandon Sproat, who's been kind of up and down throughout the last couple of years. Sometimes he is elite and electric. That wasn't really the case against Virginia. He was just kind of okay. He goes 6 1/3 innings, gives up 3 runs, strikes out 7. Cade Fisher comes in and wasn't very good. He allows a run in a third of an inning, and then they hand it off to Brandon Neely, who's been great, it seems like, for a few weeks now. He gets the win in that one by going 2 1/3 innings, and so the Gators now have a day to rest. They'll come back, I would presume, with Hurston Waldrop, and then they'll have Jack Caglione in tow for, I guess, a championship game in that side of the bracket. Should the Gators go to the winner's bracket, or I guess they'd use them in a losing game too. But in any case, Florida will have plenty of pitching going forward. I know that was an issue for the Gators most of the year, but as we've been noting for several weeks now, Florida's got a really talented staff, very, very talented. We all knew the Gators could pitch better, and you've seen great things from Sproat, Waldrop, and especially Caglione, who's been very inconsistent. But now more recovered from Tommy John surgery, he's starting to look like a much different pitcher. You got Neely and Fisher and Abner on the back end, sometimes starting. Florida's pitching has just gotten so much better, and I thought Florida would win that right side of the bracket anyway. Now that Florida has beaten Virginia in game 1, it's got TCU taking a loss in game 2, and Oral Roberts in the winner's bracket, probably the weakest team in Omaha. That's been the thought for some time, but my goodness, these guys lost one game in their conference and just keep winning. They won a regional and a super regional on the road. Sometimes you don't know what to do with the team from a league like the Summit, which isn't very good, and teams get tested or don't get tested all year. But I believe the Titans won a game or two against Oklahoma State in the regular season. You'd have to fact check me on that. But this is a team when it has played good teams, has responded and played pretty well. So maybe we are underselling Oral Roberts a little bit, but let's be honest. If you're Florida, that is probably the best case scenario. You go into the winner's bracket and you don't get a TCU team, which is red hot and has got some major league talent on its end. So that's probably exactly what you want, even if you aren't going to admit it. Okay, Oral Roberts in its game was also trailing, hits a big home run in the ninth. The bullpen meltdown with its closer sets that up as TCU had scored some runs, I think, in the bottom of the eighth to take the lead and go ahead by a few runs. And then Oral Roberts gets a home run, and then its closer survives a shaky night to finish that one off. So that sets up a winner's bracket on Sunday between the Titans and the Gators. You can see the schedule scrolling against the bottom of the screen. Got two terrific games coming up on Saturday. Wake Forest and Stanford. I like Wake in that one. And LSU, Tennessee could be a classic. I like LSU because I'm going to like LSU anytime Paul Skeens is on the mound. As you can tell, Oreo likes him too. But that could be a terrific game. And boy, if the Vols are to win that one, that would really put LSU in a bad spot. And Tennessee's got the pitching coming out of the losers bracket, even if it does, assuming LSU were to win the game on Saturday. It's got the pitching depth to still maybe come out of there, although Wake Forest can say the same thing. So very interesting matchup on Saturday, or two matchups to be more exact, and just two classic games to open the College World Series. We'll have you wrapped up as these games develop throughout the bracket involving SEC teams. Best way to get them is hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. My goodness, Oreo is urging you guys on to hit the subscribe and like buttons. That is what he is saying in dog speak. He's like, if you guys don't hit the subscribe and like buttons, then what are we doing here? In any case, I'm Chris Lee of Southeastern 14. We appreciate you watching our videos. We'll be back with more of those as we continue to cover the College World Series. And oh, by the way, football content, we've started that, so that's coming too. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon here at Southeastern 14.